Yesterday when I shared about being in freeze and flight at the same time, it resonated with a lot of you. So let me help you unpack it just a little bit more. Typically, if it came from childhood, if that's when it started, what happened is you were in a situation that was really overwhelming or you had no power or control. So you went into some freeze, because freeze is what happens when life situations, experiences, feelings are too big. When you went into freeze, it probably wasn't safe to stay in freeze. And so you had to override it with usually flight. That's a really common thing to do. Meaning, if your parents were super verbally abusive, if they were always coming down hard on you, you could have shut down and gone into freeze because emotionally it was overwhelming. But because maybe you still had to perform at school, you learned how to work really hard and to push through that in order to perform and to not get yelled at or abused anymore. So that's how the override can start. But then all of those emotions that got pushed down because they were too overwhelming tend to get stuck in the freeze. So a part of you lives in freeze. Those emotions, those feelings, similar experiences can actually put you into freeze just as fast because your body's so used to it. So the key here is that recognize where you're going to flight, which is, where do I need to be busy doing active? Where am I avoiding how I'm feeling in my body? And sometimes this is even, I don't even know what it feels like to be in my body. In sessions, if I ask somebody, what does that feel like in your body? A lot of times it'll shift into, well, I think it's this and it means this, and this is a story that played out, and that's just coming out of your body again because the freeze is so big. So all you got to do is start asking yourself, how does that feel in my body? What is the sensation? Where do I notice it in my body? And you sit with it as long as you can. A lot of us who have deep freeze will touch into it and pop back out. That's totally normal. And all you got to do is practice sitting with it longer and longer, as much time as you can give it in any given moment. There's not like a set amount of time you need to go for. It's just more of, the more I can be present with how I feel in my body and what it's like to be in my body, the more that freeze is going to be able to thaw. It's also going to help you move out of flight, which is, I constantly need to be active and doing, either to prove my worth or avoid feelings or whatever mechanism you've got going on there in your own patterns. It's going to move you out of that so that you have better, faster body recognition of, like, in any given moment of, like, this isn't right for me. I don't like this. This person is crossing my boundaries. This doesn't feel safe. This is not what I want. I don't like it, period. That's enough. So with freeze and moving out of this, you're kind of going between recognizing when you're in flight and how can I touch into the freeze until I have the capacity to sit with the freeze long enough to actually move out of it altogether.